Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for this tutorial. This set that I'm doing on this client of mine is of some sunflowers using gel, hard gel. And so I have already taken off the old product and prepped her natural nails. And now what I'm doing is I'm putting on a base gel. And when I'm doing my base gels, you want to be very careful to make sure that you cover the entire nail and that you also cap your free edges. And the reason that you want to do this is because gel is attracted to gel, and in order to have your finish filing go really smoothly, you want to make sure that the base gel is all the way up to where the nail ends and the cuticle begins, so that the other gel layers that you put on top of it will adhere to it, and then you won't get that bubble effect that you have to try to file and blend and keep blending and possibly over file onto the natural nail. And so by covering the entire natural nail on the sides and right up to the cuticle, obviously without touching the skin, will help you to keep your application nice and smooth and also decrease your time in electric filing or hand filing when you're finished filing your nails. And then also too, you want to cap those free edges because as the product ages, it is still curing, and gel actually shrinks when it cures, and some people have probably experienced that sensation. And so the reason that you want to cap the free edge with the base gel is that it helps to encapsulate all of those layers of gel in between with your top gel, and it decreases the chance of wear and tear on the free edge and possible separation of the natural nail from the gel enhancement. So now after the bonding layer is fully cured, I am going to go in with my colored gel and apply that over the entire nail. And now you'll kind of notice that in this video, I'm actually not applying the color gel as close to the cuticle as I should be. And now this video is actually a little bit older, and my training up until this point had taught me to kind of shy away and leave a little bit of a margin. And over time, that education got, I guess, exaggerated by myself over time, where I was so scared to apply product and color close to the cuticle area, and it ended up meaning that at the end of the end result of my art already looked 2 weeks grown out, just because I wanted to stay away from the cuticle because I was worried about having lifting problems and things like that. And so my application techniques were not as good or accurate as they should have been. I shouldn't say as good, because these nails would last, 6-7 weeks no problem, but at the same time, when she would leave, the nails, you could still see a little bit of the natural nail, which now my techniques have changed, and I have made sure that the entire nail is covered. This can be an issue sometimes for people who are doing an embedded art design technique, because sometimes if you do tend to file a little bit too close to the natural nail, you can file off some of that color, and this can be easily remedied by just taking a tiny art brush, a detail brush or anything like that, and taking a little bit of that color, of that base color, and just going around that cuticle area right before you place your top coat, and that will help. And most of the time this doesn't happen with the proper application and filing techniques. So as long as you keep practicing your proper techniques and be very mindful of your application, you shouldn't have any problems in this area. So now that my first layer has been cured, I am going in with a second layer of the color gel to make sure that it has a very nice high pigment. And now, because of that application being a little bit too far away from the cuticle, you can see what I was talking about when I mentioned that the gel will bubble up around the edges. And so this is similar to how you would see a water drop, how it gets that little bit of that surface tension that kind of bubbles out on the sides. And this is the problem that I'm actually having here. But back then I didn't actually know that that's why this was happening, but that is one of the reasons why your application closest to the cuticle is optimal. So I'm going to finish this nail and go on to the other hand while this one cures. Now when you are going to be doing gel art on top of a solid color gel, you do want to make sure that your layers are fully cured, and this is really going to help to give your design the staying power to last the entire time of the customer wearing the nails, and even extend it past what you might expect. And that's just because every layer of color gel that you put on is a little bit different than clear gel in a way that pigment is also somewhat of an inhibitor for the UV light to penetrate. So you do want to make sure that you do a full cure on the nails for your colored part to make sure that the layers that are going on top don't interfere with the curing process and leave your gel partially cured and a little bit more flexible and susceptible to bending and breakage and chipping and things like that. So that being said, I am going in with a sort of like a brownish, a light brown colored gel, and this is again just a standard hard gel. These gels are from CNS, Canada Nail Supplies, and you can order them online. They're an online store here in Canada, and their color gels work very well for doing detail work as well. They're very high pigmented, and I do really enjoy working with them. So these brown sections are part of the inside of the sunflowers that I'm going to be doing on her nails. And one of the things that I find really makes the nail art pop is to stagger your designs. So if you are doing the same style of image on each design, to not put it in the same general vicinity as the previous nail. So I do try to mix it up in how many and how large and in what section of the nail I'm putting it in to be aesthetically pleasing to the surrounding nails and to your client. And then once I'm finished with this hand, I'll put it into the UV light to cure while I do the other hand. So the next part of this design is the black lines around the inside of the sunflower and the cross hatching in the middle to represent the tiny seed pods. So I know that a lot of steps you would think you would do this type of detailing at the end, but the reason that I actually do it sort of as a second step is because the outside perimeter of the gel application of the brown creates a very nice wall for my detail brush to slide across very easily, and so I'm able to create nice thin smooth lines because it's going up next to the wall of that brown gel, and it actually accurately keeps my brush in the right place, and I don't have to worry about making an uneven line or creating any unwanted texture to my design or having any of the product bleed onto the brown and keeping everything nice and controlled. So that is one tip for you, is to experiment with the layering process of your nail designs and optimize when to apply which part of your design to maximize on your time and efficiency and accuracy with your gel nail art applications. The next part of the design, I am using a yellow gel paint This one is from Odyssey. It is a very high pigmented gel paint. Now you can also use other gel paints. The CNS Excellence gel paints would work also. The reason that I didn't use a regular gel color for this is because I find that with a lot similar like pastel-y or light shaded colors, the opacity and the concentration of pigment isn't as great for using in one layer into the design. And so by using a gel paint, I'm able to get a little bit of texture out of the petals and create that three-dimensional aspect, and also to have a nicer consistency, like an aesthetically pleasing consistency to my sunflower petals when I apply it, and I don't have to worry about the petals touching each other or running into each other because it is a gel paint and it's less likely to run. So now you will also see that because I did the black outline of the inside of the sunflower first, when I do place my petals, it actually creates that three-dimensional look and a little bit less cartoonish style because those petals actually separate a little bit of that black line from the top side of it, which makes it look more realistic, as realistic as you can get when you're doing these sort of singular style nail art designs. So as you can see, like it kind of overlaps and you get that little bit of the shadowing, and it kind of looks like the design took more time and effort than it really is. And because when you use a gel paint in this manner, because you don't have to worry as much about the product spreading and swelling and blending in with each other, you can do all 5 nails at once, and this definitely decreases a lot of your time in switching back and forth, and it also decreases the consistency of your clients accidentally banging their nails and wrecking your design and you having to do it all over again by them constantly putting in their hand in and out of their UV light. So it definitely has some serious benefits when it comes to nail art application. So I am just finishing up the last nail on the opposite hand here, and that is going to go into the light while I start on the next layer on the other hand. And now you notice the way that I wipe my brush off on my cleansing wipe is in a circular motion because I'm using a round brush, and in order to keep the bristles pointy and tight at the end, I wipe it off in a round circular motion. And so now here I'm just going in and adding a little bit of black gel again, this is a gel paint as well, just to add a little bit of dimension to the petals. And now you could actually, like watching this video now, you know, I kind of think that maybe an orange would have looked nicer, or like a brighter orange that's not like doesn't have as much red in it as the background does. Or you could use, I wouldn't use a white, but maybe even mix that yellow gel paint with a little bit of white gel paint and just maybe add a little bit of dimension in that way and not use the dark color. It still looked good, but this would be more of a fall, I would think, like a sunflower in the fall, because you know it's drying up and it's starting to change more into the muted, warmer tones. But if you wanted more of a lively, I think, kind of sunflower, I might change this design up a bit the next time I try it, and maybe use a lighter color, or maybe a different color in the center that brightened up the petals a little bit more. And as you can see, I'm not doing every petal. I am only doing a little bit, just to make sure that the design doesn't get really overcrowded and kind of gaudy. You want to create some type of insinuation that there's some, you know, shadow or reflection in some way, just so that it doesn't look as childish as as it would. and just be very creative with your designs. And the whole reason people want nail art that's hand done is because it's not perfect, and it's artistic and it's creative and it's a little bit different, and every nail is very unique in its own way and makes it more interesting to look at. So right here what I'm doing is I'm adding green gel paint, and I'm adding some longer leaves. And so basically this is the same stroke that I used for the petals of the sunflower, but I'm making them a little bit wider and a little bit longer in some cases, depending on where I'm placing them. And what I will say is that, so when you're mixing colors and layering colors, especially because red and green are complementary, you do want to be careful in what shade on the warm and cool side of the spectrum that you're applying your colors, so that you don't make a sunflower nail look like Christmas or muddy your design. And since all of the colors that I'm using in this design are more centered towards the autumn look, like I have the warmish reddish orange in the background, the yellow is very warm, color oriented, and the muted tone of the gray, that actually that grayish brown in the center would be the color combination very close to if I had actually mixed that green and that reddish orange together. So I'm sticking on the same side of the color wheel when it comes to, or not the color wheel, sorry, on the same side on the warm spectrum, to keep all the colors working together and not making anything stand out because it doesn't look like it belongs. So if I had used like a forest green color that you might use for red rose petals or red rose leaves, it would really throw off the aesthetics of the whole sunflower design, and when you looked at the nails, all you would see is these bright green, bluish green leaves, and you wouldn't really see any of the other design, and it would really change how you look at it, and it really wouldn't be attractive, in any way whatsoever. And for the last layer, before I encapsulate the nails, I am using a little bit of white gel and just a tiny bit on the tip of my long detail brush, and just adding a little bit of dots, and not all over. Again, you don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical, just like the black lines, they're thicker in some points and thinner in some points, so you just want to add that little bit of reflection to signify that there are sunflower seeds in the center of those sunflowers. And you don't want them to all to be the same size either. You want to vary the sizes. So the application for the gel on your brush is really not important in this case, as it would be in other designs, because having a varied size actually helps your design as opposed to take away from it. And so once I'm finished with these dots, the hands are going to go in to the UV light, and then I will encapsulate the design. Now for the encapsulation, I am using the Odyssey's all-purpose clear gel. You can use any clear gel that you like to use. This was a gel that I used at the time, and a lot of the times I just kind of pick out, depending on the temperature of my room and the brush that I'm working with, will pick up the gel that works best for that scenario for myself. So I really don't have a preference on gel for this type of design for encapsulating, but you will want to make sure that whichever one that you are using is nice and clear, and doesn't discolor if you apply too many layers, because you want to keep the nice color of your design that you're embedding. And you also want to make sure that you can apply a nice even coat over all 5 nails without it running into the cuticle or self-leveling on you a little bit too quickly. So for how you apply your product, it's really nice to pick your clear gel that is customized to the brush that you're using and your technique and the speed of how you work. And now you don't have to pile on the product. It's very important to sculpt with your brush and not with your electric file as much. This is going to cut down on a lot of your filing time. It's going to cut down on the tension and the irritability that nail technicians can sometimes get in the hand, arms, wrist, back, neck, from all the different positions that we put ourselves into in order to create these works of art. And so make sure that you're not doing any extra work that you don't need to do. Your finished design is not going to have a pound of gel on it. Like, her nails are very short. They are right up very close to her hyponychiums, and I don't need to build a super thick nail in order for these nails to be sustained. So make sure that all of your sculpting that is in place where it needs to be, and don't over apply your products, and don't overwork your products as well. This, you don't want to mix bubbles into your gel and interfere with your design application. So now, once the nails are all fully cured, I have wiped off the inhibition layer with my alcohol solution, and I'm going to just file the edges smooth and reinforce my sidewalls and do some hand filing. So for this hand, I'm going to do hand filing, and the other hand I will do electric filing, so you can kind of see. So with hand filing, I do the sidewalls and the free edge, and I go and I blend around the cuticle, and then I file straight and build in that C curve with my hand filing over the center. And so if your application is applied nice and properly, you won't have a lot of hand filing to do. So you can see here, like, I'm finishing each nail fairly quickly, and all they're really going to need is a nice gentle buff in order to get a really nice high shine with the top coat, and that will be it. So if you are looking for any one single tip that, when it comes to speed, definitely, without a doubt, pay attention to how you sculpt your nails. Spend less time thinking about, just initially, your filing techniques, and think about your application, and look at it from the barrel view, from the top view, from the side view, from the client view with their hands bent towards them, so that you can see how your application is. And then you can kind of alter your application process accordingly. If you have a heavy hand in some areas, or you're kind of noticing that you are applying too much on the one side, or that you're using a very self-leveling gel and it's tending to become flat on the top and wide on the sides, and so you're spending a lot of extra time trying to build the nail in the center, and then lots of extra time trying to file off that excess gel on the sides. So really kind of analyze how you are applying your nails before you go into troubleshooting ideas and changing your techniques, because some of your techniques may not need to change, and you'll spend a lot of time and effort trying to chase an idea of what you think you should be doing, when part of what you're doing is probably already correct. You may just have to alter it slightly and get huge benefits. So definitely, if you do get speed training, from myself or other people, take some notes prior to your class, and take pictures and make notes for yourself about what you see and what you think is the problem, and you'll benefit from these classes a whole lot more, because your instructor, your educator, will be able to help you a lot more if they can see what you do in the comfort of your own salon, and not just what you do when you're under pressure in the classroom setting. And it will definitely help you, and I would recommend that fully for anybody wanting to learn speed training, because speed training is not about doing it fast. It is about doing things accurately, and a lot of the times it's your effectiveness is based on what style of nail you're doing. So, you know, your so-called speed techniques won't be the same for different nails, because you'll alter things, and you might do things in a different order. So it's very important to focus on what you do the most and make notes on those, and then try to decide where you would like training and improvements. And you can also get suggestions from your educator on where you might need some training. And you'll benefit from your investment a lot more if you take the time to do those things, and expand on how you evaluate, because you're your worst critic, and you can definitely evaluate yourself and write it down, and then your instructor will be able to see where your concerns are, and actually address those specifically for you. So and so now I'm finishing up here with the Gentle Buff, and I'm just using a white block buffer. And so now that I've buffed the nails and filed them, I haven't filed any into any of the color, but because of my initial application, you can see that the color is a little bit farther away from the cuticle than I would prefer. And you can also see from the reflection of light on these nails, how that application, by keeping that margin too far away, has actually caused, when the gel cures and is applied, you can see that it's highest at the cuticle, and I'm going to have to file that off. And it's not necessary. It shouldn't, your end result shouldn't have to look like that, because it is going to take you extra time to file and blend that part of the nail. And then, as you can see also, or you should be able to see, or you might be able to see in the next nail, that the center is lower because of it. So what ends up happening is that gel sort of bubbles up, or pillows, I guess you could say, at those edges. And then I have to do a little bit of extra filing in order to make that nail straight and flush again. So that's what I'm having to do here, which is why I switched in this set of nails from hand filing to electric filing. So now that I've given them both a gentle buff, and I believe I've cleaned them off also, we'll find out here in a second. I think I'm just trying to turn off my dust fan here. There we go. I'm going to go in with the Tactless Top Gel. You can use a regular top gel, you can use a sculpting top gel, you can use any top gel you like. I just happened to decide to use this one, and this one is the Odyssey Tactless Top Gel. I now have many different top gels that I use, and so you can just choose your favorite. And just make sure that your top gels have a nice even coat. And you want to be smooth with your application. If you, whether it's with a sculpting top coat, or a tackless top coat, or a soak-off top coat, it's very important to make sure that that is applied with accuracy, and not, you know, very quick and short strokes. This top coat, if you want it to be shiny, you need to reflect that in your brush strokes, and not overwork the product, and not apply it in tiny little quick strokes. You want to make sure that you are very elegant in the process, and it does help your application and the shine of your nails. So definitely try it out and see what happens. And it doesn't take any more time to apply it like this. Actually, it would take less time, because it's very methodical and smooth, and It works really, really well. So if you do try this out and you notice a difference, and you should, because I definitely notice it a lot, so let me know in the comments below and let me know what you think. And if you like this design, you know, give it a like, leave a comment. If there's anything else you would like to see, I would love to hear from you. And also, if you ever have any questions, please contact me. I love to help. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you.